Hi, White Plains friends. It's Pastor Kelly Lynn. This past Sunday we experienced some new things together as a community. One most obvious was that our 11 a.m. English speaking service, that's usually in the sanctuary, was moved to the Christian Life Center in our gymnasium for worship because our sanctuary ceiling is being now it's being restored. It's been removed already. In a week's time, it's already been taken down, and they're beginning the work of restoration. So we'll give thanks for that. That's moving along pretty great. And they didn't find anything up there in the ceiling that they weren't expecting to find. So that's a wonderful answer to prayer for us. The other new thing we experienced last week was we started a summer sermon series that is based on the work of Amy-Jill Levine's work on parables called Short Stories by Jesus. She doesn't get to all the parables that we're going to talk about this summer in her book, but really sets up a different way of approaching parables than many of us have been taught. And I think the most radical, perhaps, in our experience of how we've read parables over the years that Amy-Jill Levine teaches us is that if we hear comfort in the parable, we're probably not reading it close enough. If we hear a parable and we think, ooh, I really like that, then we may have missed the point, because they're meant, the way Jesus uses this form of teaching in these short stories that we call parables, Jesus uses them to shock us, to provoke us, to start making us, causing us to do more self-examine about our assumptions about people, about our relationships, about how the world works, how we relate to God. So last week we looked at the parables of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the lost son. This week we're going to look at probably the most famous parable, which is the Good Samaritan. And when we get to a passage like that from Luke 10 that everybody knows, whether you're a Christian or not, you know the term Good Samaritan. We even have hospitals that have that name. There are Good Samaritan laws in many states. So most everybody knows that a Good Samaritan is someone who stops and helps, someone who is in need. But just knowing that little piece of the story doesn't give us anything particularly shocking or provoking to it. So we're going to let Amy-Jill Levine's work help us unpack how this particular parable might have something new to teach us. And I hope you'll join us this Sunday, June the 14th at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. for our English speaking services in the Christian Life Center or Spanish speaking in the chapel. And we'll see you there.